Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marine Ballistus Dreadnought from the Leviathan box set for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now at present this is the only way to get hold of a Ballistus Dreadnought is through the box set, which will cost you £150. However, I predict that it will be available separately, but probably not in a multi-part, multi-pose kit. And one of the reasons for that is because at present the rules are just for the las cannon and the missile launcher. But you never know. If it does come out separately, it is an easy to build kit. Expect it to be priced at about £25, which was what the previous easy to build Redemptor Dreadnought was priced at. And it may come out in a smaller set at some point. The format of this video will be as follows. I'll have a close look at the miniature. We'll go through how easy it was to build, any issues, how it can be improved. Then I'll go through the spare parts, of which there are none. Then I'll go through the size comparisons with other dreadnoughts, and I do have a Telemon Dreadnought for this comparison. I found my Custodes. And then finally we'll go through all of the rules, which can be found in Games Workshop's brand new Warhammer 40,000 app, which if you've got a tablet, I would seriously suggest you pick up. I mean, you can pick it up on your phone, but it's a bit tricky to kind of read and things. But it just works very well on a tablet, because of course the codexes and things for 10th edition aren't out yet. Probably come out in the next month or two. So let's start off by having a look at the model. It's going to be exactly the same size as the normal Redemptor Dreadnought. In fact, it looks a little bit larger just because it's on this kind of tactical scenery. I haven't glued the missile launcher and the twin link las cannon onto it yet. I've kept them loose. They do have like a kind of plug and socket system really, so you can secure the weapon and then you can pose it, and the grip is nice and tight. Then you know the weapons aren't going to wobble about and spin around too much. So yeah, they're really up their game for attachment points and things. The only thing I would have wished is for these storm bolters to be able to move. If you're going to pick up a second set, the Dreadnought's going to look exactly the same. You know, there's no option of having this foot off the scenery, and the weapons, you can't swap them around. It's going to look exactly the same if you're going to have two of these box sets. It was, you know, easy to build. I built it very quickly in the live stream along with the Captain and Terminator armor. You won't find any issues really, other than perhaps some of the mold lines and then the connection points for the exhausts there, but it goes together very quick, very easy, and you're done. It's just a bit boring, I think. You know, they could have really brought something else out other than like a big size increase of a previous dreadnought, you know, the Casferum dreadnought or the Mortis pattern dreadnought, which we've had you know, for 30-40 years or so. You know, maybe introduce some new weapons and things. Yes, it's got better armor and it's got the storm bolters, but I would have liked to have seen flamethrowers instead. You know, if you were going up against Tyranids, just in case the Tyranids swarm and get too close, I would have liked to have seen some kind of rocket pod system. I mean, it's a, you know, artillery dreadnought at the end of the day. I feel like most of the Space Marines in this set are a bit tepid. But there we go, that's the Ballistus Dreadnought. You won't have any issues building it, and you know, it's really if you like the look of like a ranged dreadnought. But let's go through the size comparison straight away because there are no spare parts. First of all, with its same size brother, this one I've done running for some reason with 1 foot off the ground, but as you can see, it's going to be same size base, and it is the same size, same height. Nothing's changed there other than, you know, this one you've got close combat weapon, you've got a rocket pod, and then you've got a main gun, and these sort of move. Also this thing, well, okay, That's great there, super. Need to re-glue that, I guess. This opens up, and I've always found that that was quite a cool feature. That does not open up in the easy to build kit. All right, so you know, you're not just missing out on the Ballistus Dreadnought. So that's quite cool. And I think the rocket pod I did glue, but you can choose not to glue that. So yeah, that's where it measures up next to normal Redemptor. I'll just leave it like that. Then compared to the largest Dreadnought, which is still the Leviathan, you know, there's no reason why this Ballistus Redemptor should be bigger than an actual Redemptor, but here is the Telemon. People wanted me to compare it to the Telemon. Telemon's still way bigger, still the largest Dreadnought about, and it's absolutely stunning in those Custodes colours. Then we've got the Leviathan. I'll just move my broken Dreadnought out of the way. Here is a Dark Angels Leviathan Dreadnought. I think it looks better with the weapon sort of there. Redemptors have always been a little bit bigger than Leviathans, and obviously they've got that larger base as well, with the Telemon with an absolutely huge base there. And then a little bit further down the line, we've got a Contemptor Dreadnought right here. I don't know whether it goes well with Contemptors. It's more of a boxy sort of shape as opposed to the Contemptor, which is like a little bit like Tartarus. It's strange because the Redemptor has these like rounded curved legs, but then a box on the top, whereas the Contemptor is quite curved all around really. But speaking of boxy, we've got the very old square base. No, it's not Warhammer Fantasy. Square based Dreadnought here. Now, this used to be, fun fact, it used to be a Mortis Dreadnought, and I bought this one off a friend when I was a kid at school, and I kept the twin link las cannon, but I bought a different fist and put the fist on it, and I also added, I don't know if you can see, but I just super glued this plastic front off a plastic Dreadnought kit on there. You can see there's the feathers there, because I think it was the Dark Angels Mortis Dreadnought, and he didn't put it in, you know, he didn't keep it in a good condition, and so I tried to strip it all, sprayed it black, and yeah, turned it into a twin link las cannon and, you know, power fist Dreadnought. But in hindsight, maybe I should have kept the missiles, but the missiles, the actual missile pod wasn't in very good condition either. It didn't survive the paint stripping process. So yeah, that's the closest I can get with like a Dreadnought that's probably about 30 years old now, and the Ballistus Dreadnought. I haven't built the Infernus Space Marines, but I do have a Terminator. So these are, you know, the biggest models in the set after the Infernus Primaris, and that's where it measures up. So this is definitely going to be this is going to be your largest Space Marine model in the set. You know, Tyranids have a couple of large creatures like the Screamer Killer. And then finally, very finally, we've just got a couple of comparisons with the 40k minis that I always show. So we've got a Space Marine on the left, Slime Arbo, and then a Primaris. So of course, like the Ballista, like the Redemptor, it does go well with normal Primaris milling about it. You know, probably doesn't even go up to its hips for the normal Primaris. So it's a big Dreadnought. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Ballistus Dreadnought. As I've mentioned at the start of the video, you'll find the rules in your Warhammer 40,000 app that you can download for free. The Ballistus Dreadnought, the unit composition is one Ballistus Dreadnought. You can't pick two in a unit or anything like that. And it will cost you 170 points. The model is equipped with a Ballistus Missile Launcher, Ballistus Las Cannon, Twin Stormbolter, and Armoured Feet. So its stat line reads, it's a movement of 8 inches, which is actually pretty fast really. Toughness 10, save of 2+, 12 wounds, leadership 6+, and objective control 4. So the weapons that it's armed with then, let's just straight up have a look at this Ballistus las cannon. So it's 48 inch range, 2 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 12, AP -3, damage D6 +1. Oh, but super, how does that compare to a normal las cannon? you know, comparing a ballistus to a twin link las cannon that you find on another dreadnought? Well, the main difference is the number of shots. A twin link las cannon has 1 shot, but a ballistus las cannon has 2. The ballistic skill of 3+ and the strength and the AP -3 and the damage D6 +1 are all exactly the same. So all you're getting with this ballistus dreadnought compared to a smaller boxy dreadnought or any dreadnought with a twin link las cannon is that 1 extra shot. It also has a ballistus missile launcher, which has 2 profiles, frag and crack. The frag missile is 48-inch range, 2d6 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1, but it is a blast weapon whereby they make a random number of attacks. You add 1 to the result for every 5 models that were in the target unit when you selected target unit, rounding down. Blast weapons can never be used to make attacks against a unit that is within engagement range or 1 or more units from the attacking model's army. Then you've got the crack version, which is the same range of 48-inch, but it's attacks 2, ballistic skill 3+, strength 10, AP -2, damage D6. That's pretty nice. You know, you got your 2 attacks. You got your 2 attacks there, the same as the las cannon. Quite high strength at a good distance away. This is a great tank to be firing at vehicles and heavily armoured units. And then, if that wasn't enough, you've also got a pair of twin storm bolters, or it just says twin storm bolter. So you've got a 24-inch range, strength 2 shot, 2 attacks, 3+ to hit, strength of 4, AP 0, and a damage of 1. It's rapid fire 2 and twin linked. And of course, twin linked, you can re-roll the attack's wound roll. So, you know, you're getting 2 shots there, but you potentially can get 4 shots if the enemy is within 12 inches of the ballistus dreadnought. I still would have liked flamers or heavy flamers on it. The only melee weapons that it has is its armoured feet, which is 5 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 7, AP 0, damage 1. Yeah, not the best, but you know, in close combat it's going to have 5 attacks. Abilities, it has a core ability called Deadly Demise, which is this new rule where when the model is destroyed you roll 1d6, and on a 6 that model suffers a number of mortal wounds denoted by X, so Deadly Demise D3, so it potentially can take 3 mortal wounds. Faction abilities, Oath of Moment. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model from your army with this ability makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you can re-roll the hit roll and re-roll the wound roll. It's quite nice, useful. And then datasheet abilities, it has Ballistus Strike, which is unique to this dreadnought. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets a unit that is not below half strength, you can re-roll the hit roll. That's fantastic. So it's a very useful ability whereby if you're firing at a full strength unit, you're going to be able to re-roll hits, which might come in handy, especially if you're using the frag missiles. You've also got another note on here which is damaged. While this model has 1 to 4 wounds remaining, each time this model makes an attack, you subtract 1 from the hit roll. I mean, that's an attack, and shots are now attacks, aren't they? When it's got few wounds, then it's going to be 50-50 chance that it's going to hit things. It has no war gear options, but the keywords are vehicle, walker, Imperium, ballistus dreadnought. So there you go. That is the ballistus dreadnought. It's a bit meh. I'm not really a big fan. When I first found out that we were going to get like a ranged dreadnought, I thought this is great. You know, it's going to have a rocket pod or missile pack on the top and all these kind of things. The issue really is with this one is it's just a bigger Mortis pattern dreadnought with some storm bolters. No invulnerable save. Yes, it's got a nice number of wounds and a good toughness, and it is quite fast really, you know, 8 inches. I would have liked to have seen a couple more rules for it and a couple more weapons, because you know the issue is they made the Redemptor Dreadnought, the base one, just so good. You know, the main weapon, the plasma or the assault or the Gatling assault cannon, it's just fantastic. And then it's got another kind of assault cannon weapon on its power fist, and that Redemptor fist is so good. And then on top of that, it's got the chest mounted weapons, and then on top of that, it's got the rocket pod. So there's your issue. You know, would you be better getting into close combat with the Redemptor Dreadnought and squishing bugs rather than, you know, getting your 4 shots off per turn, you know, from 48-inch range? I'm not sure. I mean, it's quite pricey. It's you know, 170 points to pay for twin link las cannons and for a 2-shot las cannon and a 2-shot missile launcher. But you know, what do you guys think? Do you like the look of this Dreadnought more than the rules and the lore and things? Do you think they missed a beat here and they could have added more? Do you even think we're going to get a multi-part, multi-pose kit? I don't think we will, just because of the data sheet and the options, but I do think it will be released individually at some point. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.